Hey there. I hope you're doing good. I am finishing up for this festival, and this week was the breast cancer, well, the month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but this week in my Facebook group we had a challenge to do a pour with pink and white for the breast cancer month. And I thought, you know, that would be brilliant to just go ahead and do some more canvases. So I've got 8 8x10s, and I'm going to just do 8 of them in a row. And they may all kind of look alike. I might switch it up, I'm not real sure. You can just kind of sit back and watch if you'd like. But I want to do it for those who are currently fighting breast cancer, who are survivors like my mother, and for the fabulous and beautiful women who fought the good fight and lost it and have passed on, and we want to keep their memory alive. So this is in honor of everyone whose lives are touched by breast cancer, and usually it's very rare that there's not someone that doesn't have a friend or family member that is touched by this cancer. So I'm going to do 8 8x10s, and I got my good old crusty paint pan, full pan. It's not a paint pan, but I turned it into a paint pan. And I have a big container that I mixed up, and I put some in a cup just to make it easier to pour. This container is not so easy to pour out of. And I used Artist Loft Flow Acrylic Neon Pink. And to me, it's a little bit on the transparent side. And I only used a 1-to-1 ratio. I didn't use more Owatrol or Floetrol more than I did on the paint. So it's not because I added more, but the paint in general looks transparent. So I wanted to make sure and have something that was more opaque. So I mixed up more of a kind of a bubblegum pink. It's a warmer pink. And then I have, you know, kind of, this is a mixed cup, whoops, sticking my finger in it. This is a mixed cup of kind of rose madder and quinacridone magenta, so it's mixed as well. It's not one particular color or brand. And then I also wanted to throw into the mix, because I thought it was really pretty, Martha Stewart, and I got this at Michael's or somewhere like that. This color is rose gold. So it's kind of a fleshy colored, really pearlescent, pretty rose gold color. So I'm going to use that as well today. And I've got white Artist Loft Flow Acrylic mixed with 1-to-1 as well. I'm using Owatrol Easy Flow, which is the European version of our Floetrol in America. And Owatrol is very gracious to give me free product to use. And I use it because I love it, and because of the people that cannot get Floetrol outside of the United States. It's a viable option for them to use. And I know that there was OGX or something put into these two colors because they were intermingled with different colors I used previously. So I know there's something in there, but I'm not going to add any more to it. There is none in the neon pink, and there's not any in there. So I'm just going to put a tiny, okay, so that went 2 drops and this was a drop. OGX coconut milk. This is my go-to. It's like magic, and the magical potion is the dimethicone in the ingredients. If you have dimethicone in it, you will most likely have success using it to get cells. And I do want cells. I do love cells. So a couple of stirs and that's that. I am going to take my sticks out of the cups because they do kind of get in the way, and I'm more apt to knock my cup over if I have the stick sticking out. I'm just klutzy like that. So I'm going to take the sticks out. The white does not have OGX or anything like that. I opened up this whole big old pack of 8x10s. I got a 40 pack of these 8x10s. And man, do they smell like fresh wood. I don't know what the deal is, but they are super strong. So I have push pins on the bottom of all my canvases. And what I decided I would do is it takes 3 ounces to cover an 8x10. So I thought, well, these are 7-ounce cups. So what I'm going to do is 4 dirty cups. And I'll use basically half of a cup for one pour, half of a cup for another. So I'm going to do 4 of these. So that's how I decided to use it. So I'm going to switch each one of them up a little bit, just so they're not all alike, and none of them would ever come out the same anyway. So it doesn't even matter if you switch them up because they're not going to ever come out alike. And I don't want a lot of this rosy color, so that's why I'm adding white back on top of it. I do love the neon pink. I want to use a lot of it. But I'm going to fill these 4 cups up. So again, I'm switching up a little bit, but I've got to kind of remember what I put in which cup, just so that I can remember to make sure and put the opposite in the other cups. So I can't remember what I've done, so I'm just switching off here and there. And I have a larger cup of white. I'm gonna make sure it's stirred up pretty well and just switch up to the bigger cup. I always keep lots of white on hand. And I'll keep a little bit in the cup and just in case I need it. Goodness, I can't remember what I've done where. I have the worst memory. Okay, so I'm going to put some more of this pink in here. I'm going to put the lid on this just so it doesn't dry out. I'm going to add another drop since I went through that cup already. Give it a few stirs. It's funny how on the sides of the cup you see like a predominant color and you think, oh my goodness, I hope that color doesn't take over the whole cup. So you don't really ever know what's going to happen. which kind of makes it exciting because then it's kind of unexpected, and that's what I love about fluid acrylic painting, is it's usually unexpected. So I've got 4 cups. And because I want to do 2 canvases from each cup, I'm just going to kind of pour about half the cup out. And with OGX, actually, I'm going to let a couple of them sit, because when they sit, they have a chance for the cells to grow. So this one, I could have flipped because it was the half of the cup that was left. So, but I'm going to leave a little in each cup in case I need them. I better only do 2 at a time, otherwise I'm going to have too much going on and I'll probably make a mistake. So see how they've grown already? And what I've mentioned is when you put a heat gun on OGX, it basically just pulls out little dots. So I don't do it very long at all. I just do it to basically pop the bubbles. And then otherwise I just let it sit and grow. So basically, first I'm just going to try to get it to cover most of the canvas, hopefully before it starts going off on the sides. Once I get more drips in the pan too, I can use them as well. Sometimes you want to save what's in the bottom of the cup for ribbons also. I can also use a little of this neon pink that's in this cup, or the bubblegum pink, or the vivid magenta color. So this just basically helps you from having to tilt all of your color and your cells off the canvas. So it's a win-win for you if you can salvage what's on your canvas. So the rose gold actually came out pretty heavily. I was not expecting that. I am definitely a messy painter. I am not neat. Some people don't use gloves. They don't get it on their manicured fingernails. And I don't know how that happens. It almost, the magenta color almost looks like red. But anyway, I'm going to try to leave most of them the way they turn out without having to manipulate them much. I kind of want them just to, you know, kind of flow out as they will. So there's the first one, and I'm going to stop talking. And if you have thin paint, just keep adding paint from the drips to cover that thin paint. This one dribbled over on the side, and that is really pretty what dripped on the table. Use some of this bubblegum color here. I can even stick my finger in and get some of the magenta color. I'm going to say one more thing before I keep going. My general plan is, once they are completely dry, is to paint the word warrior on it, or fighter, or survivor, or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what, but that is my tentative plan, is to add a word on top when they're dry. Okay, so I said I was going to do 8, but you know, I got the paint and I thought this would be a cool time to do a dip. So what I can first do, see my pan isn't even, so I'm just pressed my canvas in. So I'm just gonna, this is just to put paint on the canvas. Because I want to use as much paint as I can. Might as well do the other one. And there, you know, you don't have to put paint on your canvas when you're doing dips before you do the dip, but if you have the paint and then you're kind of guaranteed you're going to have coverage and not have a dry spot, this is kind of one way to do it. And of course it's got, you know, silicone or OGX or whatever in it, so it's sealing up just on its own. So we're going to turn it back this way. Can't stop. So I'm going to use this pink. What's left of the rose gold. Let's see what else I have on this table. There's a pink right there. I'll put a little of that in. I think I'm going to use a shot of black because I didn't use that in any of the others. So sometimes when you have a paint tray that's been sitting in the paint and you've peeled any paint out, there might be some crumbs, so just be looking for them in your paint. You don't want them in your, ruining your thing. leave this on its side so that the paint will be ready to pour in case I need it for a ribbon. So this will be a little bit more interesting with the black added to it. So the good news is all those pores, the neon pink didn't show up very much, but just as it's been sitting here over the last 30 minutes to an hour, that neon pink is really popping. So when you see the dried pictures at the end, you'll see how much the neon pink came out. So I'll be happy to share that with you. I always post dried pictures at the end of my videos. So I thought I'd use these cups up. Again, this is just a piece of paper that was probably in a picture frame or something like that. So I try to use as much of my paint leftovers as I can, even if it's just on paper, because once it dries, you may have something quite lovely to make jewelry with, or to put in a picture frame and use it as art, or paint some artwork and use the pour as your background. So you really never know what you're going to get each time you do a pour. I'm just going to let that hot pink area with the black in it sit and dry. And if I let this dry for multiple days, I will have some skins in there I can pull out too, which will be kind of cool. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Click on the links below my video where it says show more, or your down arrow on your mobile device to find all the links: PayPal, Patreon, Amazon link recommendations, Facebook group, my website, and follow me on Instagram. Come follow me everywhere and let's connect. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.